Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Juice.
Thanks very much indeed for being with us here this evening. Thanks to all of you for your attendance, and welcome to the 2018 edition of the Larchfield Gala Dinner, live from the Waldorf Astoria. Thanks for being with us here on the Palm, and I do promise you a rather wonderful night, a rather refined night of celebration of great classical music, great food, and great company as well. Lots to look forward to throughout proceedings. We will have an auction for you, a live auction a little later on. I will just draw your attention to the live auction items, which are located on the right-hand side as I look out, just as you come into the main ballroom down here at the Waldorf Astoria on the Palm. You will find the live auction items. 4 will be going under the hammer a little later on in proceedings. Before all that, though, we will have some introductory speeches, and I draw your attention to the raffle, because all the money we raise here today going to an extraordinarily good cause, which we'll hear more about in just a little while. The Larchfield Gala Dinner raising funds, as it does year on year, thanks to the generosity of all those in the room and all those that have donated the raffle and auction prizes. As to the raffle, here's what you could have won. A cell phone by Sony. Thank you very much indeed to Sony. We've got a camera, a Sony CyberShot DSC as well. That could be yours. There's a gift voucher from the Palace. Thanks very much indeed to Address Hotels and Resorts there. We've got Emirates Golf Club who've come on board this year. They've given us a golf voucher, a lunch and dinner voucher, courtesy of the Waldorf Astoria down here. A dinner voucher for Duke's Dubai, also on the Palm. Nurture to Sleep is also been involved with us as well, so they've given us a voucher, as have the Dental Spa, if you want to get the pearly whites sorted. Business lunch voucher, courtesy of the Main Oyster Bar and Grill. Big thanks to Ian Fairservice for that. Book hamper from Motivate Publishing. Again, big thanks to the Fairservice family for that. Movenpick Hotel, Jumeirah Beach, 1 hotel voucher from they, so thanks to they. And an all-important family shoot, courtesy of Stu Williamson. So all those could be yours, and I would ask you, as I said, to dig very deep indeed to give generously to the cause this year. How much do I need from you? Well, we will be asking you for 25 of your hard-earned dirhams for 1 singular ticket, okay? If, however, you would like to get a strip of said tickets, we're going to ask you to part with 100 dirhams. So the team will be coming around to your tables at various points during proceedings to try and get relieve you of a little bit of your money. But as I said, it is going to an extraordinary cause, a cause that we'll be finding out a lot more about throughout the evening, and as promised, some absolutely extraordinary, truly world-class classical musicians up here on the main stage in just a few moments' time. Without further ado, let's get this show on the road, and it is my pleasure to welcome up here onto the stage to kick things off about the fundraising process and why we've all come together in this extraordinary room. Please welcome to the stage, Lisa Richards.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure this evening, on behalf of the Golf for Good team, to welcome you to the Larchfield Gala Dinner. As many of you may know, since 2014, we have been proudly supporting Larchfield. To date, we have helped raise over 830,000 dirhams. Thank you. We've managed to do this through our open challenges and our private corporate challenges, and of course supporting wonderful events like this gala dinner this evening. Since the first Larchfield Gala Dinner last April, these wonderful events have actually raised over 325,000 dirhams. So tonight, let's see whether we can double that amount. The funds that we've raised have helped support a number of things. First of all, we've helped build extra classrooms in a nearby primary school. We've also bought a brick-making machine, and we've also helped with the phase 1 completion of the construction of the orphanage near Mukaranga. As an exclusive tonight, I'm really pleased to announce that we're going to continue our support of Larchfield into 2019. We're going to be returning to Tanzania for our 13th Kilimanjaro challenge. So, ladies and gentlemen, why not challenge yourselves this evening and proudly support Larchfield and join us to conquer the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. Thank you. In addition, if any company here this evening is interested in organising a private corporate challenge, then please come and speak to us tonight. We'd be more than happy to share the information with you. All you need is a minimum of 10 people, and then a little bit of willpower maybe as well to get you through the challenge and to help support wonderful charities like Larchfield. Now it just remains for me to proudly hand over to our host for this evening and my fellow board member on Golf for Good, Mr. Jim Berry. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Larchfield and my project partner Min Yang, who combines the role of host, co-promoter and soloist tonight, I'd like to wish you good evening and welcome to the Golf for Good Classic Music Gala Dinner in support of Larchfield and, of course, in support of the project in Tanzania. I'd like to thank each one of you individually for coming today, because your presence here makes the whole thing make sense, and it's very difficult, especially over this Easter period, to compete with Easter and the holidays and the travel plans that people have and the visitors they're receiving and all kinds of other things. But you've done very well to get here. I'm so grateful that you took the trouble to come. Thank you. Now, for many, she will need no introduction. Nevertheless, it's a huge pleasure and a privilege for me to be working with Min Yang, who has really worked wonders to ensure that we have this evening here at this wonderful hotel tonight, accompanied by the most distinguished soloists in the whole world, here in person. And they'll be playing for us a little later in this setting. Isn't it wonderful? I'd also like to thank our sponsors and supporters. A huge thanks, therefore, to MMI, Dubai Duty Free, Waldorf Hotel on the Palm, for making this evening possible. MMI are sponsoring the finest beverages that Dubai can offer. Dubai Duty Free have made it possible for the musicians to come here to play for us tonight. And the Waldorf Astoria on the Palm has contrived to make this ballroom available to us, and the cuisine at the lowest possible cost, and have been so helpful in working with us to organize this event. You will all have noticed the flower arrangements on the tables and outside. I think they're simply superb. They are done by a company named Upscale and Posh. So next time you buy flowers, you know where to buy them from, Upscale and Posh. I'd also like to thank Jebel Ali Christchurch for its solid support of Larchfield, and a further special thanks to Motivate Publishing and Frances Barton, who is here tonight. Frances, where are you? I know you're here. There she is. There she is, Frances. And also Mark Lloyd of 103.8 for the radio and media coverage generally, to reach as many people as possible. Thank you all. I'd like to thank Rotary Club of Dubai for supporting Larchfield. I'd like to thank George Katadritis. I hope he's here. There you are, George. George has been running alongside this project for over 3 years, all pro bono, doing the design of our project and making sure that all the architectural and contracting work done in Tanzania is done under his careful, watchful eye. Thank you so much, George. Terrific. You and your team. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge Mackerel Turner Garrett. Nigel, where are you? I know you're here. Nigel's here. There he is, Nigel. Huge supporter all around the world for Larchfield, and ongoing supporter throughout this year and into next year. A wonderful support. Thank you so much. And also, I must not forget to thank FrameCAD and Southwest Middle East for their support as well. We've got wonderful supporters, and with that, I'm sure we'll succeed. Let me now introduce you to Min Yang, who is my colleague on this project, and we worked together last year. Apart from being a natural comedienne and a great hostess, she's also one of the world's leading soloists. And she will introduce her team, which is called, as you see there, the China Red Trio. And she will also explain a bit about the music they're going to play. Min.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and your excellencies. I was not supposed to be talking. I think he got the running order wrong. So I was supposed to start to play. But anyway, we are going to start playing for you with my wonderful colleagues, whom I will introduce you properly after the first piece. I promise you, that's not part of my natural comedian thing. That was an accident. Anyway, I've been called many things in my life, but never a natural comedian. Thank you, Jim. Anyway, I would like to introduce my fellow musicians. On the piano, you see Professor of the Central Conservatoire of Music in China, which is the best conservatoire in whole of China, one of the best in the world. She's also a soloist and a very active chamber music player. That's on the piano. On the cello is the principal cellist of the China Philharmonic Orchestra. Is also one of the best orchestras in the world and the best in China. So they are very kindly flew all the way to Dubai to join me to perform for you. I hope you enjoyed the first piece. Yes? Thank you. And the second thing I would like to tell you a little bit is our instruments. We have 3 generations of instruments on the stage. The oldest one, guess which one? Ah, very good. You must know already. And the violin was made in 1740 in Italy. So this being the oldest lady in the room. And the second oldest is very special. This piano is called the King Edward piano, which King Edward of England bought it in 1893 for his wife. And outside is the antique original, and inside is restored as a brand new Steinway. Newfound piano very kindly lended us this for this evening. That was 1893. The newest kid on the block is the cello. The cello was made in 2015 in Germany, so it's a baby. So now you know a little bit about the instruments. I will tell you more about the piano a little later. The third thing I would like to mention, which I feel I'm obliged to have to mention, are my shoes. These are Louboutins, because some of you have been my very wonderful followers over the years to come to my concert. You see, I always tell this story. When I was with the London Symphony Orchestra, I was still on trial. My very first tour to the Carnegie Hall in New York with the orchestra was obviously, I was very excited and a little bit nervous. And the second concert, this guy rushed up to me and said, "Oh, I'm so glad I called you. I wanted to talk to you yesterday." So I thought, yay, he was going to say, "You played so well, you look great, you know, like as a violinist." And he just said, "I love your shoes." So I thought at least I'm debuted for something. So I felt I'm obliged to mention my shoes at all my concerts. And that shows, or us musicians are not just some boring, weird people who are not normal. We are normal too. The next piece I'm going to play for you is with the cellist. It's called Passacaglia. It's written for violin and cello duet. The next piece, I want to tell you a little more about the piano. The piano is now resident in Dubai. owned by the Newfound Piano. The owner, Kareem, is here somewhere. Please hold up your hand. Ah, there he is. So if any of you want to know any more about the piano later, please go and ask him. He can tell you all sorts of wonderful stories about the piano and everything else. So the next piece, two pieces, the pianist is going to play for you. One is a Chinese piece. It's called The Moonlight Over the West Lake. Very 平湖秋月，中国人 in Chinese it's 平湖秋月. And another piece is by Debussy. This year being a 100-year anniversary of Debussy, a wonderful French composer. He composed this piece. It's called Goldfish. What he did was the first world exhibition. He went to see the exhibition, and he saw this tray, a wooden tray, a carved tray. Inside there's a little fish, a beautiful goldfish, by a Japanese artist. He loved it so much, he bought the piece, this piece of art, and he was inspired to have written this piece. But then it's a little bit of a sad story. I know when we eat, barbecue fish or something, we don't think that. But they said this was, his friend said, oh, I can see the shadow of the fisherman. So obviously the poor fish died. But it's still a very beautiful fish who has inspired Debussy to have written this beautiful piece. That's the next. Well, that's the next on the, there she is. Okay, while she's walking on the stage, I just want to tell you something. As musicians, our lives are quite varied. We don't just play in concert halls and wonderful surroundings like this. We also do master classes at schools and even in prison to help people obviously better their lives. And in one of the occasions, the principal flautist of the London Symphony Orchestra gave master class to a group of 6 to 10-year-olds. So he was telling them, when you produce the best sound, you need to open your throat. So he said, so who can tell me, how can you open your throat? One of the 8-year-olds raised his hand and said, you get a knife and cut it. So you get this kind of answers. How do you educate them after that? Anyway, here's a wonderful pianist. Yes. Yeah. What a wonderful piece played by the wonderful pianist on an amazing piano. I think we're very privileged to have this piano on the stage and perform for you. I think it's quite rare in Dubai to see this kind of instrument. The next piece we're going to play for you is called The Curse of the Golden Flower, which is a Chinese film. 什么来着？那个叫那个什么黄金近代什么什么黄金甲，满城尽带黄金甲。So Chinese all know this very famous film. It's basically about the emperor and the empress and his sons, and they want to have kill him, and they want to kill each other. And this music was played at the very end of the film when the emperor's eldest son was having an affair with the empress. So it's an incestuous story. But the empress was not the son's mother, so it's kind of okay. But anyway, still, obviously, the emperor didn't think it was kind of okay. And then the empress and the son wanted to kill the emperor. They want to start, what's the word in English? Sorry? That's right, yes, the new dynasty, and then they want to kill the emperor. So, but of course, the emperor knows everything. And just when they tried to kill the emperor, and they found themselves surrounded by the emperor's armies, so this very beautiful empress just killed herself. She really cut her throat. And then this blood was all over, and it was flying, and it was ended on the bed of beautiful yellow flowers. And when that happened, this music was played. This is a very famous Chinese film, and played by very famous Chinese actors and actresses. And the director who did the Last Emperor, the film Last Emperor, also he was the director for the Chinese Olympics, the opening and closing ceremony. And in the film, the extra soundtrack, the cello solo, was played by the very cellist here. So you are hearing the original soundtrack player here now playing for you. Right, from the applause we're getting, I think you think that was okay too, right? Now we're coming to our last piece of this evening. Oh, I just heard a little oh. What about oh? Oh, that's better. Now we're coming to our last piece of this evening. That's better. That makes me feel so much better. The last piece we're going to play for you is composed by Piazzolla. It's called the Liber Tango. Well, you know, sometimes when I do this kind of concert, I sometimes worry if the audience enjoying the music more or the jokes of the musicians more. Anyway, just to tell you some more about the musicians' lives. It's not a joke, it's actually the real life of musicians. As I told you, some of the musicians go to prison, in London, go to prison to form a prison band. And in particular, the principal of, the trumpet principal of the London Symphony Orchestra, he used to go to the prison in London year after year after year. So one day, someone in the orchestra said, "Oh, Frank, how is it going in the prison orchestra? You've been doing a lot of this work." And he said, "Yeah, it's coming along really, really well. But you know, the problem is, just when I get them up to some standard, a good standard, and some of them just decide to leave." That's one of the frustrations of musicians. But also, I just want to tell you, this is, in my time, I actually experienced this myself. We were playing Mahler Symphony in the Barbican Center. And in this symphony, there's an offstage brass playing. Mahler does a lot of this. So what they do is there's a camera at the back, and there's a screen at the front, so they can all see each other. So the offstage brass players were not required for an hour and a half. So what they do is they time it very well. They go to the pub, and then just time it well and come back in time. So in the rehearsals, no problems. Worked like a charm. In the performance, Sir Colin Davis, late Sir Colin Davis, went nothing. So he went again, nothing. So he said, "Oh, well, carry on." So the orchestra carried on without the offstage brass. So what they did was they, got carried on and of course miscalculated the timing, so they missed the performance. And this was supposed to be recorded live and to do a CD, but this CD could not be produced. Needless to say, these players were never asked back to play again. So the last piece we're going to play for you, Liber Tango by Piazzolla. Well, thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you very much. So we will play for you one more piece, also by Piazzolla, Oblivion. And I promise you, I will let you eat.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please put your hands together for Min and the China Red Piano Trio. Huge thanks to the trio for entertaining us pre-dinner, and I do hope that you will show your appreciation as the team come down, share the floor with you. I'm sure they'll do autographs, selfies. I think they'll do selfies as well. Anything you fancy, so they'll come on round to your tables and say hi. If you've got any questions for this is probably the opportunity to do it. Food is now being served to your tables, so get stuck into that. Bon appetit with the world-class cuisine down here at the Waldorf Astoria here on the Palm in Dubai. But one final one, just the raffle tickets. They are on sale now. They will come round to your tables, so please take an opportunity to buy some raffle tickets because, as I said, all of the money we raise here tonight go into a very good cause. A cause we'll be hearing more about in just a few moments' time. And if you'd like to take an opportunity to have a look at the live auction items, there's only a few. They're on the table over there. Enjoy your supper.